Welcome back to the Karrasch Real Properties channel. My name is Steve Karrasch, and this is my channel. And today, we're going to look at investment condos here in my local market of Surrey, BC. And very specifically, my favorite investment condo developments that fall into the low-rise category. So stick around because today's video is going to cover the whole city, and really, it's going to be pretty diverse. But first, I'm going to ask you to invest in this channel by clicking subscribe so you can cash in on the returns of staying up to date on the Surrey, Fraser Valley, and Canadian real estate markets. And in return for keeping you up to date on the market, all I ask is that you click the like button for the YouTube algorithm, because that is the best way you can help me get this video out to other people just like you who are also interested in owning a condo here in the city of Surrey. And if you are new to the channel, or if you're thinking about buying a property here in my market, anywhere from North Delta to Abbotsford, go ahead and book a buying consultation with me at any time that works best for you using the link in the description below. And now on to the video all about the best low-rise investment condos here in the city of Surrey, according to me. Somebody born and raised in the city who's also been selling since the great financial crisis of 2008. And first, let me start off with a little bit of my criteria of what it took in order to pick these as my favorite strata or condo developments. One, they obviously had to be low rise. These are not concrete high-rise buildings. And generally speaking, specifically, they are mostly made of wood frame construction. Personally, I prefer living and investing in wood frame low rises as just a preference, and this style of construction is not used all over the world, so many newcomers, specifically newcomers to Canada, like to focus on concrete high-rise construction, which often costs more to purchase and also in maintenance down the road. And in my opinion, the low-rise option usually comes with what I feel are just better layouts. Number two, I picked pretty big complexes. These are buildings that have lots of units and therefore lots of turnover. And realistically, they are buildings or complexes where there's almost always something for sale. While smaller or boutique buildings might go months or even years without a unit hitting the market, which of course doesn't help you if you're looking for a condo today. And third, these are simply my picks. I'm not representing these properties as being better maintained maybe than other stratas. I'm not going to discuss their finances or internal council bylaws or anything of that nature. I have simply picked the top 5 buildings or strata complexes that I think you should consider if looking to live or invest in a low-rise condo here in the city. So let me add to that this little disclaimer. Please don't rely on this information for your own purchase. Rather, consult and hire a professional realtor who can help guide you through the process of finding out which property best fits your needs. And with that out of the way, let's start off this top 5 list with pick number 6 of the best low-rise condos here in Surrey, BC.
What do you mean 6?
Yeah, sorry, I actually couldn't narrow this list down to just 5. So I've added a 5A or maybe even a 6, whatever you want to call it. And let's start off with Quattro. Now, Quattro is a multi-phase development that first made big headlines when I believe it was maybe phase 2, unfortunately burnt to the ground during construction in 2008. But Quattro Developments managed to rebuild on the site located here near 108th and King George Highway in Whalley. Now, the area isn't generally regarded as the best in Surrey, and in fact, just over here, 108th and King George is kind of considered one of the worst. But with the transformation of the Whalley area, or city center as we now call it, Quattro with small 1 and 2 bedroom units, and those amazing top floor lofts that they have, well, the price point in this complex will get you some of the highest rents in relation to some of the lowest possible sale prices in the city. But for the true number 5 on my list, we're going to have to travel east to the bustling neighborhood of Guildford to find Charlton Park, a 3 large building complex originally built by Ani in the early 2000s. Now, since the building was pre-2010, there were rental restrictions in place, but with rental restriction prohibitions brought in by David Eby in late 2022, that has now opened up Charlton Park for investors looking for some small 1-bed units all the way up to very large 3-bed and den layouts. And the amazing complex surrounds, if you can see it here on my map, this massive, something like 2,600 square foot gym and amenities area, complete with outdoor pool and everything else that you are thinking about if you are one of those people who finds value in amenities. And as someone who owned my first property in this neighborhood, let me tell you, the walkability of this particular complex in relation to something like Guildford Mall is absolutely amazing. And if you are looking to commute into town, the easy access to Highway 1, well, you just can't beat it. But if access to Highway 1 and SkyTrain are not on the tops of your list for an investment, you may want to try number 4 on my list by traveling all the way down to South Surrey and the shops at Morgan Crossing. Now, Morgan Crossing is a village-style community that, if I'm not mistaken, is made up of 7 different buildings for a total of 286 units. And it's these ones right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Conveniently, right across the street from Sammy J. Pepper's, with all commercial units below and stores like Everything Wine, The Gap, and restaurants galore. And then the condos actually span 3 stories above the shops. This is the closest feeling you're going to get in Surrey to something like a Yale town. In fact, I would almost go so far as to comparing the shops at Morgan Crossing to something like Whistler Village, if Whistler Village was a strip mall in suburbia. Now, it's important to mention that there are another set of condos across the parking lot on the London Drugs and Home Depot side of things, and there's even more condos like the Morgan down 26th Avenue. These could also be really good options, but when it comes to Morgan Crossing, the biggest thing I want you to be aware of is that on the other side, or on this north side here, let me drop a pin and show you. Well, this section right here, unfortunately, it is a high tension power line corridor. So if you do live in these units that are right here, you're really, really close to high tension power wires. And some people may not like that. So if power lines aren't your thing, you may want to steer clear and maybe head over to number 3 on my list, which is a personal favorite. And I feel like I should disclose this here because I am an investment property owner in this complex, and that is the Ridge at Bowes Farm in Cloverdale, built back in 2015, 2016 on the historic site of Bowes Farm. The Ridge on Bowes Farm is a 4-building, 245-unit strata built onto the preserved park and overlooking the valley between Cloverdale and Sullivan, with views all the way to city center and the North Shore Mountains. The historic barn on this site was actually preserved and modernized, and you can pick up everything in this complex from a glorified kind of bachelor 1-bed all the way up to full 3-bedroom units with yards that rival that of some single-family brand new construction. But you or your tenant had better own a car, because although it's super walkable for things like trails and nature, you won't want to be hiking your groceries from more than 10 or 15 blocks away. Moving to number 2 on my list, back down to South Surrey with easy access to Highway 99, and that's Harvard Gardens. Originally built by Polygon, Harvard Gardens actually consists of Prescott Commons, Kingston House, Elgin House, and some other townhouses on the side. And then they all come together to share the amenities club called the Rowing Club. Now, it's called Harvard Gardens because it's constructed to actually try and look a little bit like the Ivy League school. But your tenant here will be anything but a student. Usually, they're young professionals who want to be in that South Surrey area of town with easy access to Richmond, the airport, and yes, into Vancouver, but this time by car. Again, this time there are also power lines close by as well. But usually the drier weather in South Surrey with access to lots of shops and restaurants are the main reason people like to buy here. And the number one place that I would be tempted to put my money right now if I were looking to buy another low-rise condo here in the city of Surrey, well, that would be Fleetwood Village by Dawson and Sawyer. And maybe fortunately or unfortunately for you, depending on when you're watching this video, much of Fleetwood Village is actually still under construction. Some of it isn't, some of it is complete, but much of it is still under construction because it was sold in 2 major phases of Fleetwood Village and then Fleetwood Village 2, but there are tons of options spanning many different buildings in this area, mostly constructed over what was actually a trailer park when I grew up going to high school just down the street. But the condos above here in Fleetwood Village have some townhouses down below, and they are located just off of Fraser Highway, where the new SkyTrain line will be running into Fleetwood, which will be a very good option for commuting in the future. And obviously, because the units that are available are so new, you shouldn't have to worry about things like maintenance and costs. And Dawson and Sawyer are known for making one heck of a good product. However, be warned that if you're going to live in the units and maybe not just keep them as a rental, I do find that their floor plans look really, really good on paper. And then when you get the keys, often it feels a whole lot tighter in person. Yep, I've actually been in many of their projects across the city, and they always do feel just a little bit tight. And the knock against Dawson Sawyer has been that they do feel a little bit cookie cutter. And well, there you have it. That's my list of the 6 top 5 low-rise condos in the city of Surrey. And let me know if I miss your favorite building down below in the comments. And of course, if you're looking for an investment condo here in my hometown of Surrey, BC, and you need some expert advice, well, you can go ahead and book a call with me right now using the link in the description below. Thanks for subscribing, clicking the like button, and we'll see you in a couple of days.